Happy New Year! It is 3rd of January 2025 and I thought I would make a video to reflect on 2024 and also talk about my 2025 goals. I know it's been a while since I made a video on YouTube. In fact, the last video I made was the beginning of 2024 with the intention of it being like the first of many vlogs throughout the year, and that turned into the one and only vlog I made in 2024. I just completely abandoned YouTube. But here I am starting a fresh new year with creating a video because I want to be more creative. I enjoy capturing little moments of time and I just didn't really do that last year. So I want to do that more in 2025, and this is the perfect way to start that by reflecting on the past year and also setting some goals. So if I look back to the beginning of 2024 and kind of like do a recap over the year, we started the year in Scotland. We celebrated New Year's with some family friends, and then we drove down to Edinburgh to pick up Rich's kilt, which he wore at the wedding, which I will talk about later. But yeah, we picked up the kilt and we stayed at a lovely hotel in Edinburgh, and yeah, just spent a very nice sort of time at the beginning of the year. We then celebrated my birthday mid-January by going to a tea room in Ely, which was very nice, and went to my favourite antique store just to have a look around. And Rich was like, oh, you can buy anything, you know, or choose anything, I'll buy it for you for your birthday. But there were so many things that I wanted that I ended up just not choosing anything. But it was just a really nice day out, so that was kind of the treat for my birthday without actually having to have a physical thing, because the day out itself was just lovely. And then at the end of January we gave notice of our wedding, so yeah, that was a really nice way to end the first month of the year. February and March were a bit of a blur, if I'm honest. I know that Rich went ice skating a lot with his son, which was fun, and I was a spectator slash cheerleader for that. I didn't partake because I was scared of falling over and breaking my arm or leg or something and ruining the wedding. So I kind of stayed off the ice, but I cheered them on. And then there was just a lot of wedding planning in general, like generally throughout the year, but it really kind of ramped up at the beginning of 2024. And speaking of weddings, we also went to the wedding of Rich's son's mother. So she got married in Ely. There was a lot of Ely-based things at the beginning of this year. She got married in March, and it was a beautiful wedding, lots of dancing, lots and lots of dancing, and a lot of pick and mix. I ate quite a lot of pick and mix there, but it was wonderful. It was a beautiful wedding. Moving through to April, I'd been pretty consistent with my weight training like throughout this point, but my running had taken an absolute dive, and I couldn't. I don't know why, I just stopped. I just absolutely stopped. And I haven't done it since, so that's something I'll talk about later. But yeah, running completely stopped. Weight training carried on doing, and I've been consistent with like the rest of the year, which is great. But yeah, that's something I do need to pick up again. In May, we went to Legoland to celebrate the 8th birthday of Rich's son, and it was fantastic. Like Legoland, if you've not been, it's brilliant. You should go. And we stayed there. So it was just a wonderful time, and we all thoroughly enjoyed it. Obviously the little man did as well, but I think all the grown-ups did as well. We also considered getting our kitchen done around like May, June, July-ish time, and then we decided maybe with the wedding being kind of the main focus that a kitchen could maybe take a step back. So we've postponed that. We will get it done eventually, but right now it's just not the time. In June, Rich went to Download, which I didn't go. He went with his brothers, and based on the pictures that he was sending me of all the mud, I'm very glad that I didn't go, because I don't like camping anyway. I've never been to a music festival, and yeah, seeing the amount of mud and just grossness that was there, I would have hated every single second of it. So I'm really glad I didn't go. I think they all had fun despite the mud, but yeah, I remained cozy. Well, I say cozy, I mean it was summer, so I wasn't really cozy, but you know what I mean. I stayed dry at home with my home comforts, and I didn't have to worry about mud. But yeah, when Rich came back, he looked so tired and so dirty from all this mud, bless him. In July, we went to Riyadh, the Royal International Air Tattoo. We'd never been before. We went with Rich's son as well, who had never been before, so it was an experience that was brand new for all of us, and it was amazing. If you like planes and flying vehicles, or any vehicles I suppose, but it was a really amazing event. Lots of like food stalls and stuff like you'd expect, lots of obviously planes and stuff like that, and helicopters. I find helicopters more interesting than planes, if I'm honest. But Rich and his son really liked the planes. Well, they liked all of it, and it was a really cool experience. The only downside was that the hotel that we stayed at, it was summer, but they didn't have air conditioning, but they had like a fan, and the room was really, really dusty. And overnight, we had the fan on, but I woke up the next morning and my eyes were all completely swollen, like I'd had an allergic reaction to the dust, and it completely flared my skin up. And if you've seen my previous videos, you'll know that I've had a bit of a tricky time with my skin, and so this completely flared it back up again. And with it being like, at that point being a few months before the wedding, I had a bit of a freak out. So my mental health, which had kind of been struggling anyway for like the start of 2024, went completely in the trash. Like I was like just not happy at all. Like I was quite depressed, because, well, I thought I'd overcome to a certain extent the skin problems that I was having. So this completely just spiraled again. And yeah, I had to work with my dermatologist to try and get it back under control in time for the wedding. And I was terrified that I wouldn't be able to get it under control. But thankfully I did. But for like July and August, we had a few breaks away that I just didn't enjoy because I felt so rubbish. Like physically I looked horrible, or at least I thought I did. I mean, Rich said I didn't look that bad, but when I look back at some of the pictures I've had taken of me over that time, I looked awful. So I think he was just being nice. But anyway, it was just a miserable time, if I'm honest. And so the kind of holidays and stuff that we had as a family weren't as good as they could have been, which sucked, because I just felt so rubbish. But, you know, a lot of it was how I looked and physically felt, but also mentally, how the prednisolone that I was on, if you've ever been on prednisolone, it's an oral steroid, and your mood swings will absolutely go all over the shop. And that was what was happening to me. So that, plus work being busy, plus wedding planning, plus like just generally feeling rubbish, it really did take a toll. And my mental health was just not where it wanted to be. And even now I'm kind of coming out the end of that. I'm better than I was, and I'll talk about that in a bit more detail. But yeah, it was that sort of summer into autumn was quite a tricky time for me. So yeah, September was mostly just me working with my dermatologist to try and get my skin under control, playing around with the different doses of the different medications that I'm on for my skin. And thankfully, it was able to be under control by the wedding. Because I was on quite a sturdy dose of steroids, I had moon face for the wedding, which I was really sad about. And even now I still have that sort of round face. Part of it is obviously I have body fat at the moment. I'm carrying a little extra weight, but specifically for the wedding, it was very round, and that was because of the steroids. And so I look back at the pictures and I'm like, ugh. Like, I'll talk about the wedding in more detail, because the wedding itself was amazing and it was a wonderful weekend, but pictures of me at the wedding I still am not 100% happy with, but it is what it is. Like, pictures of me and Rich I love, because it's us two together as husband and wife, and it's all very lovely. But any pictures of just me on my own, I'm like, ugh. I need to remind myself that compared to where I was like 2 months before, it's like a world difference. Like, it was just so, the skin flare was so bad. So I have to remind myself that it could have been even worse. But the most important thing was the fact that we got married, and the wedding weekend, aside from how I looked, like if I remember what it looked like from my perspective, not at what I looked like, but what I was seeing and experiencing, it was perfect. It was beautiful. The venue was amazing. My husband looked amazing. And our best man, who was Rich's son, he looked amazing as well. The venue was stunning and exactly what we were looking for. The banquet was exquisite. It was so good, so much food, but it was glorious. Yeah, I will do a completely separate video on our wedding. If you're interested, let me know, I will talk about it. But overall, it was an amazing place, an amazing group of people working there. The staff were awesome. And yeah, it was just, getting to marry the man of my dreams was just in a beautiful setting with our closest family was just perfection. It was wonderful. The only downside was, like I say, was my health side of things, but it didn't stop the wedding, and that's what's most important. And now I am the wife of the most wonderful man I've ever met, so you know, it all worked out pretty darn well. And then November and December has pretty much just been full on work, like busy for both of us at work, so it's kind of just gone from wedding to just busy work, and now suddenly Christmas. And then Christmas has been lovely, spending time with friends and family, and seeing them in the new year as husband and wife. That was obviously very nice. So yeah, it's been a really weird mix of emotions and highlights and low points of 2024, but obviously the main thing was getting married. That was the sweet, beautiful moment of the entire year, and that is what I'll always look back on. Like if I think of 2024, it's purely going to be the wedding, like, and how wonderful that weekend was. Everything else can just, I'll close the door on and just focus on the fact that I got to marry the love of my life. So that kind of brings me on to my 2025 goals. So I've only got 4 points that I'm going to just briefly talk about on, and then I might do another video in more detail about each point, or just generally a recap of what I'm working on in 2025. But yeah, for 2025 I've got 4 main goals. To stay consistent in the gym, I'm so proud of myself for 2024 for constantly showing up. Honestly, I do have muscles here somewhere, it's just that they're still hidden under a layer of fat, which I will be dissolving in 2025, so I can reveal the muscles. But I'm pretty sure I've done some muscle growth. It might only be tiny, but I've done it. And so I want to continue that in 2025. I want to start running again. Cardio has always been an issue for me. Dancing I can do. In terms of a form of cardio, dancing is easy, but running is almost impossible. And I want to beat this demon. I want to be able to run and enjoy it and do it for more than a minute at a time and feel accomplished. And I had been doing that up to a certain point, and then obviously stopped in April. I'm going to pick that up again. I'm going to. Not I want to, I am going to. I'm going to continue with my sobriety. So I gave up alcohol 50 days ago, and the impact on my mental health has been incredible. Like, I will do a whole other video on this, but oh my God. I thought Christmas and New Year was going to be really hard not drinking. It was fine. I think if I'd have just quit at Christmas, that would have been harder. But by the time Christmas came around, I'd already kind of given up by like over a month. So it actually came quite easy, but the difference is unreal. So I will do a proper video about that, but that's one of my goals, is just continue to not drink, because it's just been absolutely transformative basically. And then my final goal is to create more than I consume. So I've done a lot of scrolling on socials in 2024 and just sitting watching TV in 2024. I don't want to just sit and consume. I want to be productive and creative and capture more and create more and just, yeah, generally do more rather than just consume. So some of it will be YouTube and making videos and content on Instagram and pictures and things, and some of it will be like art, you know, digital art, crochet, knitting, embroidery, that sort of thing. So just be more creative basically. I love doing it, I love making videos. It's just 2024 was just a bit of a weird one, and I'm hoping 2025 is the one where I can be much more creative and productive and just, yeah, enjoy all that side of things a lot more. So that is it. I hope you had a wonderful 2024. Like I say, mine's been a bit of a mixed bag, but overall it kind of ended quite positively, and I'm hoping that will continue into 2025. If you have any goals that you want to share, leave them in the comments. I'd love to know what they are. But otherwise, let me know if there's anything you want to see from me in 2025. Leave a comment and yeah, just say hi. It'd be good to see you and reply, and yeah, try and get back to being closer to you guys. I feel like I've not made a video in a long time, and yeah, it'd be nice to kind of reconnect with you all and yeah, share my journey, but also get to share in your journey into 2025 as well. So happy New Year again, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.